Welcome to Analytics with Nags. In this video, we're going to create our first ETL pipeline using Azure Data Factory. And this is a new set of videos that we are going to create as part of Azure Data Factory playlist. So feel free to share this with your friends and colleagues, those who want to jump into the data engineering or data analytics world. So what we are going to do today, we have data in the storage blob and we need to load it into our database. This is a simple scenario, and all over the internet you will see the same example. This is because once you know the fundamentals, you can achieve any other complex scenarios. So coming to fundamentals, what you need. So in my previous video in the introduction, I have shared what is the steps to create Azure Data Factory. So I hope that is done by this time while you are watching this video. Then once we launch our data factory, in order to connect to any source, we need these two components, that is link service, that is connecting to the entire component. Let's say we have a storage account can be connected to the link services. Then for referring a single table or a piece of information, you need a dataset. So these two are prerequisite for the source. How about target? Target has the same. You need to create a link service to connect to the target. Then you need to create a dataset. These two things are created separately. Once you have done, then you need to create one activity. What activity it is? You need to take a data from here and load it into this target. That is the activity. Where you will create that activity, you will create inside the pipeline. So basically the hierarchy flows like this. We have a pipeline created as a first step. Inside that pipeline you can have activity, which is nothing but, it can be many transformations or many activities you can do. We will start with the copy activity where these two things are created prior. Then you can do your data movement in a simple way. This is what we are going to see as part of this video. This channel contains a free content that covers Power BI, MS BI, SQL fundamentals and Azure fundamentals. Please utilize this free content, share this channel with your friends and colleagues. Let's begin. So for us to do this exercise, I have already stored some files in the Azure blob storage. You can see it here. There is product and V2 sales data, and right now we are going to create SQL server as well. So I don't have SQL server database. Let's try to create in few minutes so that we can proceed. So in SQL server database, or you can type SQL database. Once you type SQL database, there are a lot of options to create. Click on SQL database, then select the resource group you already created, enter the database name. I could say like staging DB, and I will prefix with AWN, and then you need to create the server as well. Server takes certain time, AWN demo. Then you can choose UAE. How you want to authenticate, authentication method. You can use the SQL authentication here, and usually the server admin should be AWN. It could be SA as well. I just use a simple password for now. And what is the purpose of your server? You can use development, locally redundant, review and create. So this is the cost. It's going to happen for a month. If it's okay for you, then create the database. Now you are creating the SQL server. Now along with the server, it also creating the database as well. So now you can see the database along with the servers are created. We can quickly check database, SQL database. Just press refresh here, because sometimes it will not appear immediately. Yes, you can see here AWN staging database. Now we have our files ready here as well as this server existing. Let's go on to the data factory. Let's launch this data factory that we created in our previous video. We are launching for the very first time. Let's see how it looks like. So it is once it launched, it will be a very clean, I mean nothing will be present right now. So you have copy data at scale, orchestrate, transform data, all other things you can able to perform. We will see one by one later. Now first things first, let me show you what other things exist. You can see here pipeline, change data capture, datasets, data flow, Power Query, all other options over here. As I said before, what we are going to do, we are going to move from one place to another. Let's try to follow those steps. First things first, let's create a link service. Our data source data resides in Azure Data Lake Storage 2. So I already mentioned the difference in our basic videos. You can watch about that. Now you can choose the subscription and storage account name and then create. Now you are connecting, right? You are connecting to this link service to the storage account directly. So that is fair enough for you to create the link service for the Azure Data Lake. I can also create a link service for SQL database as well, Azure SQL database. Click on continue. You can name it like staging ls. Then you can select your subscription name, database name, and you used SQL authentication. You provide the name AWN and password that we just now provided. Then you can test the connection. It should be tested properly. You can see because AWN database connection was denied due to public network access is set to yes. Demonstration purpose, you choose selected networks, public access, that is come to security, networking. Initially it will be disabled. Selected networks, allow Azure services to access this server. This should be the exceptions. Once you choose this, now you can allow the Azure services to connect to this server. Now when you go and test it, now you can see the issue is fixed. This is the issue I want you to face, because while creating you might have missed it, how you can resolve this error. So let's create. Now you got the Azure SQL database as well as data lake link services. Now it's time for us to create a data set for the Azure storage account. Now come to your storage account, continue. It is stored and delimited, continue. Now you can choose your link service that you created, right? Now here, either if you know the path you can type it here, otherwise there is option to browse. Our files are stored in source files, and this is the file I'm going to load as a very first thing. So source files, and then v2 sales data. This is where our data is stored. Now I created data set for the source. Let me name it as source underscore dataset. Now I need to create the dataset for the target. My target resides in SQL server, SQL database, Azure SQL database. Click on connect, link services that we created just now, and I need to choose the table. It's optional one, you can ignore it for now. Just click on OK. So just you have created a empty dataset here. Now you have a Azure SQL table and source dataset. That's it. Now these prerequisites are done. As we seen here, the first step and the second step is done. Now we need to create this activity. So where this activity exists, this exists inside this pipeline. So we need to create the pipeline. So click on the three dots, click on pipeline, then you will get the screen here. So you can see there are a lot of activities that you can perform. Today we are going to perform the copy data. So once you use this, what are the things you see here in the copy data? You have a name, activity state, all other stuffs, and two important things over here, that is source and sync. In source, the parameters it requires is source datasets. That is what we created in the just before step. So source, this is source ds, that is CSV file. So as soon as you choose, you can see a lot of options available over here. File path in dataset, or you have list of files. These things will come to know, because if the file path is a folder, then you can look through all of the stuffs, those kind of stuffs, right? For now we have pointed to the direct file. Now there is another pop-up here, sync. Sync is always the target. So if you are familiar with your SSIS background, then you might have familiar with this, what I'm trying to achieve right now. So source, instead of target, we call it as a sync. So sync, we choose the Azure SQL DB, and here I'm going to auto create this table. This table doesn't exist, so I will auto create. So once you choose this, and if you have any pre-copy script, like I want to delete before loading, all other steps we will do it later. For this demo I will skip everything right now. Then you want to add additional columns over here, then you can do it. So these are the other options over here, we will check it out later. For now we are done with our configuration. Let's rename it as we need to rename it in general. Instead of copy data, I will say sales data. That's it. Now it's time for us to debug. So I will tell you the difference. The debug, without saving, you can run and test your code, and once you are saved and publish, you can also able to trigger it. Let's try to debug right now. A table, okay, there is a validation error here. It says there is no table exist. So we need desperately some table over here. For that we need to create one table. So we can also do like this, dbo, or just put some sample table name. It will not validate basically. Let's say sale data. So just a name is enough. And again, right now I'm coming back to here, the pipeline. Let's do debug. Now what is happening? It is trying to load this table from your source to target. when you see here, you can see the output, it is queued and all other stuffs are happening, and we can see what is happening here. That's it. So now it's time for us to log in and check the database, whether the data is loaded or not. Let's try to log in. So there are different ways you can able to query. Right now I am trying to use the tool that is available in the Azure itself. So you can see here we have a sales data and we can query this. So this table has been loaded right now. What I'm going to do right now is I will delete this data right now. Truncate table dbo dot, and let me run this query. Now when I select this, I don't get any results. So now I have this pipeline ready, right? Now I'm running it again. So this pipeline is running. Now we are loading this data once again, and we can go back and check this table. Yes, now we got the data again in our target. So quick recap what we did. So we already had files in the storage account, and we created SQL Server because we don't have one, and we created SQL Server and the database. Then we created in the data factory, we created link services and dataset for the storage account, and we created link services and dataset for the SQL table. Then we created activity inside a pipeline. That activity takes one of the file from the storage account and loaded into a table inside the SQL server. This is what we did. So it is clear right now. And when I need to load another table, that is the question right now. So when I need to create another table, whether I need to create all the things again, what are the shared features? So what I can see is like, if you see in this example, which is specific to the table, this dataset and target dataset, as well as the activity. Activity is for the single table. Then if I need to load another table, I need another activity too, because the activity uses the parameters, right? I need the dataset and other dataset. For doing the activity 2, that is another table copy, I need another data set. So this is what we want to do it right now. So other things are shared, like link service is specific to the server, link service source is specific to the storage account. That we can use the same existing one. Even this pipeline. So inside the pipeline, we are going to create another activity to load into another table. Let's try to do that so that you will understand the difference. So now we have this single copy data. Now let me do it slightly different way. I will take a copy activity again. Now once you click on it, there will be a lot of options at the below. Initially, while you are working, there will be a lot of glitches how you can navigate. Once you click, what it pops up, it will come in practice. So I click on product, I renamed as product, then source. So I should not choose the existing ones, right? Existing one for the sales data. Now I will create a data set for the product. So it is storage account oh my bad. So send to storage, delimited, continue, link service. I can choose the existing one, go back, files, product. There you go. Now I created the data set for the another table, that is product table. So I will say product underscore dataset. That's it. Come back, so I can publish whenever I want. Fix publish. Okay, I need to have that pipeline completed, then only it will work. So sync, okay. Now I can go and edit this one, enter manually DBO product. At that time it will throw validation, that's fine. Now let's publish. So now we have created the data sets. Right now when you click on this blade, you can see here pipelines and data sets. You have 4 data sets. One is product data sets, that is from Azure data block. Let me rename it properly, like sales storage account SA data source, I mean data set. And here it should be product, and this is from SA dataset. This is product underscore SQL dataset. These namings are very important while doing implementing a project. Sales data, you can skip it if it's too boring, but for project wise I am doing it. Now it is very clear item. So this renaming automatically reflect in your the activities you have referred. Now you can see here, this is for the sales data, this is for the product data. We'll go and check, is there any table named product here? It will not be there. So once I run both the things, right, then it will create this table and reload all the data in the sales data. Product has failed. The reason is obvious. Let's try to check. I think the table does not exist. Table, okay, the product cannot access destination because we didn't give that option here, like auto create table. If it does not exist, it will auto create. That is the option we need to give. And let's debug again. It's queued. Remember that this table is not cleared in every run. So let's say in source you have 1000 records. Each time you run in target, if you run 3 times, it will become 3000 records. It will keep on amend your records whenever you run. That's it. Now both the things are succeed. Let's go and check here. Earlier when I showed there is no table, right now you have a table here. Instead of this, I've used the product here. Now you got the data. I hope you understand what we are trying to achieve here. The fundamentals of data factory resides on all these factors. You need to have a link service, you need to have data sets, and you need to create a pipeline to copy the data. In upcoming videos, we will see all other options and data flows, when to use it, and any other options which is useful in your data engineering. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and comment below for queries. Do remember that data is your asset.